Good afternoon, listeners. This will be a special episode of Quality Living because I will be your guest host. My name is Ozy Pops. Our creator of the show and normal host is Amanda Whitmore. She cannot be with us today, so I'm filling in. I am excited to welcome Oren from Echoes Within. Oren is a lifelong musician, multi-instrumentalist, and certified yoga meditation instructor with 40 years of study and practice with therapeutic sounds. Oren will guide us through the similarities of sound healing, sound therapy, and somatic sound meditation, bridging a practical, scientific understanding intertwined with the mysteries of profound, embodied, mystical inner experiences. Learn about the ways sound can act as a catalyst for your body's innate self-healing capabilities, quieting the mind, slowing brainwave activity, and regulating the nervous system. Beyond listening, somatic sound meditation is an embodied experience where vibrations are experienced directly in the body, offering a profound escape from the world outside into your body and authentic self. Tune in for an insightful journey into therapeutic sounds with practices you can use anytime for stress management and emotional regulation. Thank you so much for being with us today, Oren. Oren's going to give us a bit of a demonstration of some of these sound frequencies.
Thank you so much, Ozy. Really appreciate the introduction. Appreciate you being here, holding the space for Amanda. Really happy to be here in the studio once again. So I would like to start off by offering listeners an experiential, a sample of what I like to call somatic sound meditation, being a type of meditation that's guided by sounds, or a guided meditation with sounds, and somatic just indicating that it emphasizes a connection to body awareness. Because meditation can lead to people feeling like out of the body, which also would be known clinically as dissociation. So I like to focus on bringing attention back into the body. I think the body holds a lot of wisdom, and so that's where I like to focus my meditation efforts. So I will begin by inviting...
It looks like you got a couple of brass Tibetan bowls for us.
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about what we're going to hear. Sure, thanks. Yeah, they would actually be bronze. Similar, it's just another kind of alloy. Yes, they're known as Himalayan bowls or metal bowls, and Himalayan singing bowls. And I also have a chime here, which is it's a certain kind of chime that's used in this field. It has a bamboo case. It's kind of like a wind chime that somebody put on somebody built a little box around. So that's what you're hearing there. And I do like to use this instrument to begin and end sessions. Actually, it's a good bookend, if you will. And so these two bowls are 2 out of the 9, I think, that I have all together in my complete set. Which roughly outline a scale, a D major scale for any music aficionados. These are not tuned instruments. They're made to sound good unto themselves. So they're not necessarily tuned to Western pitches. But it just so happens that this one, that the lowest one you're going to hear, is just right around what's known as D2, D in the second octave, what would be known as perfect pitch, so to speak. And this other one I have here is just right around the note F sharp. So for my little music theory, fellow music theory nerds out there, it'd be right around the interval of a major third, little flat of a major third. But it's a very pleasing sound. It's a common sound. It's a familiar sound. And that's another quality that I look for. I believe that the familiar sounds have to do, or more associated with the conscious mind. They're familiar. The other sounds that you'll hear with these instruments are layers of overtones. So these are known as overtone-rich instruments, which means they produce a fundamental note, and then as the instrument resonates and vibrates, these other overtones, these are the notes in what's known as the harmonic series, and sometimes called harmonics or overtones. They just start to sound out naturally. So that's the other dimension. And
they vibrate with your natural body energies, right?
I believe they do, because they are, in fact, natural proportions. That's right. And they're the same proportions that we see in nature with things like plants unfurling and things like this, all kinds of, it gets into what's known as fractals, or the Fibonacci sequence, all things like this.
I've been around them a few times, and I know I've been around the crystal bowls, and I know they usually are said to be attuned to each of your chakras. So I'm guessing Tibetan bowls or the metal bowls are similar?
Well, that's an interesting question and sort of an interesting tangent. The chakra system was developed actually in the West. And I would say that's a little bit of, honestly, kind of marketing a little bit there, because these are ancient, the crystal bowls are more of a contemporary
Sure, you need modern technology
creation
to make them.
They're actually produced in their glass crucible. Is that they're made in silicon factories? And somebody one day they weren't made as sound instruments, in other words, but somebody one day hit it and it made a sound, and they said, "Ooh, I wonder if I make them in different sizes, they'll make different pitches."
Oh, how cool!
And the same thing with these. Actually, this is an interesting tangent. Good question. These are initially essentially kitchenware. Ancient Euro-Asian kitchenware, and somebody one day, struck it with a stick and went, "Whoa!"
Well, I don't want to get you to give us too much of a history lesson. I kind of got you off on a roll.
That's an interesting tangent.
Let's hear you get on your. Let's hear an example.
Yeah, right on, Ozy. So this is a really common, what I call again a somatic sound meditation. In common terms, it's often referred to as a progressive muscle relaxation or a body scan. So I invite you and listeners to just begin to become aware of your breath. And become aware of whatever's supporting you, wherever you're sitting. Just relax into your body. Let your eyes close if that's comfortable, or let them focus at the tip of the nose so they're just a smidge open. The breath come in and out of the nose, assuming it's not congested enough to prevent that. Now bring attention to the top of the head. As you inhale, scan all the muscles around your head and your skull, and scan for any tension, maybe around the temples. Scan for any muscle tension you might be holding, and as you exhale, release. Inhale, bringing attention to the rest of the face, around the nose and the mouth and the jaw. Scanning for any tension and letting it go as you exhale. Inhaling, bringing awareness to the neck and the shoulders, scanning around the back, around the front, all of the layers of tissue there. Exhaling any tension. Inhaling, bringing attention to the chest and the heart area, the pectoral muscles around the back, in between the shoulder blades, scanning. Exhale and release. Inhale, bringing attention to the midsection, the core, the abs, around the back, the middle of the back. Scanning. Exhale and release. So during this process, refrain from any judgment. Just observe any sensations, any emotions without any judgments. Inhaling, bringing attention to the waist, the pelvic area, the organs of regeneration around the back, the base of the spine. Scanning. Exhaling and releasing any tension, any emotions, any memories or thoughts associated with this part of the body. Inhaling, bringing attention to the legs now, the quadricep muscles around the back, the hamstrings. Scanning. Exhale and release. Releasing any thoughts, memories might be associated with this part of the body. Inhaling, bringing attention to the lower part of the legs, the calves. The calves are known as the second heart. They're responsible for pumping a great amount of blood back up from the lower part of the body, back up to the heart. Scanning, exhale and release. We're holding any judgments, just neutral observation. Inhaling, bringing attention to the feet, the toes. All tons of reflexology points on the bottom of the feet that they say connect to all the parts of our bodies. A lot of possibility for tension there in the bottom of the feet. Scanning gently. Exhale, release. Take some conscious breaths here in through the nose. Exhale. That was a somewhat abbreviated sample of it's called a progressive muscle relaxation meditation. That would be something that I do at the beginning of classes before going into what I call like a deep dive sound meditation with the instruments. So that's a way to relax and again bring awareness into the body. Yeah.
Well, I hope some of that energy transferred over the radio for you listeners, because being in the same room as it, I can feel a shift in my awareness even just from that little bit.
Thanks, Ozy.
That's powerful stuff.
Yeah, right on. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So like you mentioned in the little overview there, I wanted to
tell us a little bit more. I'm sure that was my introduction was just a gloss over. We'd love for you to expand on some of that. One of the goals of this quality living show is to have a conversation with somebody so our listeners can get to know someone for almost a half an hour in a row. Because so often we meet people, we only get a few sentences out of them, or you run into them at the grocery store. You never really get much of a chance to have a conversation with someone new that you're just meeting. So
right on.
Yeah, expand on some of the thoughts we introduced with.
Thank you. Yeah, and I really appreciate again the opportunity to sit down and have a conversation, carve out that time. So, like I mentioned, this is it's kind of a practice that I've been using for myself, really going back to childhood. And in my teens, I sort of taught myself the basics of keyboard. I think was the first instrument, guitar. And I didn't know it at the time, but music was always an escape for me, kind of a healthy escape, that didn't involve any substances or anything of that nature. So it was a way to escape from whatever it was that was so challenging, the outer environment, and a way to connect to something bigger than myself. It always felt like a way to connect to something bigger and sort of escape. It's a little bit of a paradox, but by escaping within and somehow also escaping without, just a sense of something larger, a sense of connectedness.
Cool.
Yeah. So this is going back to like the 80s when I was growing up. So back way before the internet, back when we had to go to bookstores to read about things and such, fast forward, this idea of using sound and music for therapeutic ends has become rather popular, and even kind of a trendy thing, if you will, in certain circles. And by the way, I'm from Los Angeles, and I moved up here to this area from LA in 2021. So in LA, there's people with these instruments doing occasions like almost on every corner in some areas. It's a really common modality. So little sideline, I was kind of excited to be up here in this area and sharing what is a new modality, for a lot of people, since there's not a lot of other practitioners really in this area. So a little bit of excitement just to share something that folks in other parts of California and really all over the world are experiencing. And like I said, it's becoming really popular.
That is really exciting because for many people they want to try a new form of healing. They've maybe been to the chiropractor, they've been to the acupuncturist, and you never know what thing is going to be the key to really giving you a jump start toward your health journey.
Right on. I appreciate that. And that's a great segue. So another key point I'd like to touch on is that sound healing is a very common term. And likewise, people who are practitioners are referred to as sound healers. Now, I have to say, and I'll quick disclaimer, I'll due respect to people who identify as healers and work under that terminology. Personally, especially in this context with sound, I'm quite sure actually that it's not the sound doing the healing per se, as much as it is our own bodies. And that's why I'm not really comfortable using that term. And also, in that way, I feel like if I approach somebody as a healer, I feel like I might be taking away, kind of disempowering them or believing that they have their own power within themselves. And quick example, just from a really practical point of view, if we go to the doctor with a broken bone or a cut that needs lacerations, doctor doesn't heal us. He does, puts in some stitches, puts us in a cast, and then advises us to go home and rest and maybe take, some pain. But somehow, our bodies mysteriously somehow will mend that laceration. How does that work? It somehow fuses the bones back together. We don't really know how healing happens when you get right down to it. Healing is a mysterious process that really bubbles up from within. And so where the sounds come in is, like you noticed, they have a way of creating a very relaxing space where you can relax and allow for the innate healing powers in your own body, in your own mind to go wherever they're needed.
I really like that, Oren.
And
that's a really good metaphor. I like the notion that you're helping to empower people to know that their body's going to take care of them and heal them.
Right on. Thanks so much for saying that.
I appreciate it too, man.
Yeah, very cool. So the other term that's in common usage is sound therapy, which is okay. The only issue with that term is that therapists are a legal profession, and so there's some kind of legal hitches. There might be some legal reasons why you would not want to label yourself as a therapist. So that's kind of why I don't really use that terminology. Another common term that's used to refer to the occasions is a sound bath. They're known as sound bath occasions. And that's because, again, as you notice, the vibrations are very tangible. And so these are kind of the smallest instruments that I have. I also use gongs. The largest ones that I have are 32 inches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they're these huge.
Oh, yeah, you can feel it. I had my hands on the table,
yeah,
and I can feel the vibration in my hands from across the table.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, it's a very
tangible thing.
Very tangible. It's very somatic. Quick little science note: there are actually, because I've been fascinated by this, and I've wondered how the human body picks up sound. So in addition to going through our ears and the audio cortex, we have cells. They are known as cutaneous mechanoreceptors. And they pick up vibrations in the environment, like subconsciously, just like the vibrations that if I hit the bowl, and even just without the table, you can feel that kind of wafting through the room. If I had a gong here, you'd really feel it. Or if you put your hand in the middle of the bowl, you can feel the pressure waves. So those are picked up by these certain cells that we have in our skin. Just like if you were outside and a train goes by off in the distance and you feel that vibration, those are through these cells in our skin. So that just gives some kind of really practical credence to this notion of somatic meditation. There is that'd be the science behind it, if you will. And I'm very fascinated by these types of meditations that help bring us into the body Because for me personally, I also, as I was exploring music as a youngster, I was also exploring meditation right at the same time. And all kinds of different traditions, but the usual kind of conventional old school is to kind of sit down and be quiet and watch your thoughts go by and label your thoughts. And I don't know, that didn't really, my mind is very active and I'm kind of a little, have a lot of energy. So that didn't work for me. So I always was really trying to discover what I now think of as active meditations that involve the body. And basically what meditation refers to, another little science break here, refers to a state of consciousness or a state of brainwave activity. So right now, waking consciousness, brainwave activity is vibrating at a certain rate. When we go to sleep, it slows down significantly. When we die, obviously as a result of no brainwave activity at all, right? That's part of a flat line. Actually, the flat line technically is the heart rate monitor, isn't it? But brainwave activity also, is part of obviously that transition. So, but in between waking and sleeping, there's another zone. It's known as the theta range of brainwave activity. And this is where meditation happens. A little related tangent here. It's also where a lot of drug activity, how drug activity registers in the brain. And one place where I used to offer these services is in addiction treatment centers.
Oh, I bet that's really helpful.
In Los Angeles, yeah, and people just loved it there. And invariably, I did it both at IOP, outpatient centers, and residential. And people had all kinds of mystical experiences. One guy who had just had a baby, and the baby was at home, and he was in treatment, trying to get clean, obviously, for fatherhood. And he said he was at the end of the session. During the session, he thought he felt his baby on his chest.
Oh wow!
And it was like so tangible that as he was coming out of it, he was like, oh, whoops! Like he didn't want to drop the baby. Like it was so tangible. And then he opened his eyes, like, oh, phew, the baby's not here. But it was this really tangible, and that's what I mean when I refer to mystical type experiences, things like that. I hear all kinds of things.
That's a great story to share, and you read my mind, because my next question I was going to ask you is, tell us one time your somatic sound meditation had a dramatic effect on someone right away.
Oh,
and you beat me to it.
Right on. Great question.
Helping some people in IOP, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Giving them more than just don't do the drug anymore.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Well,
I'm going to hit you one more.
Go ahead.
I really like that you want to share the science aspects of this thing, because this is, in the last 10, 20 years, we've had a lot more ability to measure the effects of these things. And it's taken some of the notions of this from the quote unquote woo-woo world and put some actual science behind it, where, people can't just say, oh, that's some quackery.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
There's real science.
There is. And I just want to say too, to folks out there who use, the chakra coordinations, nothing against that. It's common. It's familiar. It works. There's nothing wrong with it. I would just maybe, offer the suggestion that there's more. There's more going on. And the thing with the chakras too is that, there's a 7 chakra system that's probably, a chakra is just an intersection of energy. An intersection of subtle energy. It's like a vortex. It's a place where the channels of life force energy intersect and cause like a hot spot, if you will.
Sure.
So there's a bunch of them. There's more than just 7. There's kind of 7 major, but they're all over. So I'll just leave it at that. But
real quick, how long have you been in the Brookings area, and what's your origin story? What originally brought you up here?
Like I said, I moved up from LA County in 2021. It was really just the natural beauty, and this is really pristine wilderness.
Sure.
And
every reason is a good reason to find yourself here. It's just
it really is.
People have different ways they.
Yeah. I was in a big transition, and incidentally, my music took a big transition as well. I was playing another instrument at the time, known as a tambura. This is an instrument used in classical Indian music, another one of my pursuits we'll save for another podcast. But it's a very long instrument, these very long strings, and they rusted like crazy. So I went into a little crisis and I had to find other instruments to play that wouldn't rust. So I said, aha, these metal instruments. So that's really what led me into my current projects. And I've recently also done additional trainings in somatics. My degrees are in psychology, music, and education. And I'm just up here, putting together this program and continuing on my own healing journey. Really, I think that would be the most basic answer to your question, is really just my own inner journey that led me here. My life has been just one big spiritual journey like that, and it's real. I'm drawn to these natural places.
Oh, it's really good to hear. It sounded like, from part of what I just heard, that you look forward to coming back and doing the show again.
Indeed, and
that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Echoes Within is the business name I have. People can find content for free on YouTube and also on Facebook. I do have, I put on community events both in Brookings and south of the border in Crescent City. The next one is a free event on the summer solstice. And there's also an event the following week up in Gold Beach. So I'm looking forward to spreading out the good vibrations all along the
That's
coast.
great to hear, Oren. It's great to meet you.
Likewise,
Thank you. We've come to the end, toward the end of our interview, and thank you, KCIW listeners, so much for tuning in. And we'll be able to put up links to your how to get a hold of you.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks, Ozy.
Right on. Have a good afternoon, folks.